Parkin, one of the authors of Teaching with Intent 3, along with my colleague Helen Harper. I want to talk about Chapter 4, Narrator Point of View, and the implications of an author's narrator point of view for our using a mentor text. One of the most common choices is to use first person, especially in children's books, where the author has chosen for the narrator to be one of the participants in the story. And in this case, the story is told in first person, using I. Now, the great benefit of that is that we get a really good understanding of that person's voice, of their perspective. Everything is told through that perspective. And of course, the downside can be that if we've got the voice of an 8-year-old or the voice of a 14-year-old, then the perspective is limited to that, or can be limited to that, and it's a bit harder to get the perspectives of others. The other problem is that sometimes we don't get highly literate language. Doesn't mean that there are other good resources and character development, but we don't necessarily get highly literate language if it's told through an 8-year-old, for example's voice. The other most common choice is to have a third person narrator. And the third person, there are various choices. So if you have an omniscient narrator, then the omniscient narrator can see into the minds of all the participants. The narrator themselves is not participating in the story. They are standing back. They're talking about it from a distance, and often in past tense as well. So that there tends to be, it's easier to get reflection. The omniscient narrator, or all-seeing narrator, can see into the heads of characters, and that means that we get a really good idea, not just of their physical behaviours, of their appearance, of the dialogue with others or monologue, but we also get to see their senses. So the omniscient narrator can tell how characters are feeling and thinking because they've got so much power. The objective third-person narrator is more limited than that. They are still standing back. They are looking at it from a distance, but they can only see behaviours and appearance and dialogue. So we don't get sensing verbs. We get talking verbs. We get action verbs, but we don't get sensing verbs. Now, that makes it more challenging for the reader because we have to infer from a character's behaviours or their dialogue or their appearance how we're supposed to feel about them and how they're supposed to be thinking. That doesn't mean that it won't be a great mentor text. It just means that will be challenging and therefore satisfying once we understand and are able to infer what's going on in that story. So all of these are not wrong. They're not bad. These choices just mean that it gives us different grammatical and literary resources to teach about and to use with our students.